Today, I'm here in Denver, Colorado with my good friend John Hardwick from Certainteed Roofing. We're out here to talk about the solar shingle that they just came out with. How are you today?
Doing great, man. We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you. So this solar shingle, the Solstice shingle, came out a couple years ago at the International Builder Show.
Correct.
I was lucky enough to see it get unveiled, and it won Best in Show.
It won 2 awards. It won Most Energy Efficient Product and then the overall Best in Show.
What I loved about this product is the fact that it just integrates right into your existing roofing.
It actually is a building product. It is your roofing product. So from the deck, underlayment to the solar shingle, that's all there is. There's no asphalt shingle under the solar. It is a roof and it is your power plant.
Talk to me about what I'm looking at here. So I've got the shingle itself, but then I see all these parts around it. So,
yes.
So tell me what I'm looking at.
So we wanted to keep this simple. So the number of parts that we have laid out here is about 10 parts. So it's like a very low profile skylight. So we have a bottom flashing, side flashing, top flashing, and then we do provide stainless steel screws, wind clips, and it is extremely robust and extremely elegant. We want to make sure that it's easy to install, but the final look really maintains the beautiful curb appeal of your house.
And so what I loved about this is that because it integrates right in, it's much more low profile. You know, obviously you still get that sheen and you still can tell it's solar, but it just seems to integrate more flawlessly and it's not as obtrusive.
We still do a lot of panels in the industry. They help pave the way. But now that a lot of the early adopters already have solar, now we're needing to appeal to a more discerning audience.
It's like windmills. When windmills first came out, people hated them, but now they're getting used to them and it's part of the landscape.
So we're making this very integrated so that when I do the perimeter with asphalt shingles, if I do a thicker asphalt shingle, it looks even more blended in.
This is gonna integrate right into my asphalt shingle roof, right? So obviously we're gonna use Landmark Pro or a Certainteed product around that, but really any asphalt shingle will integrate into it.
Any asphalt shingle can be integrated into the perimeter. The benefits of using a Certainteed asphalt shingle in the perimeter is that you get a 2-prong warranty. You always get the power production warranty of the solar shingle, but with the Certainteed asphalt shingle in the perimeter, you're gonna get an additional 25-year workmanship warranty.
So when you do that new roof, you're getting the same warranty on both products. And if one of the panels goes bad or you have a problem with the array, you guys are gonna come out and pay for that labor and the material to get it fixed.
Yeah, I was really impressed that Certainteed handles any kind of warranty claims through the same service that they do it for their asphalt shingles. So the guys are already familiar with it. They're familiar with being paid for their labor and their time and getting the replacement product. And you mentioned matching it to a shingle. This is a Class 3 hail rating. So we recommend doing a Class 3 shingle in the perimeter as well.
I actually presented this product to a client last week. And when I presented it, the first thing out of their mouth was, well, how's the durability of it? And I mean, this thing is solid.
Very solid. We have Class 3 hail rating. We have Miami-Dade wind rating, which is the highest you can achieve. The cell pattern looks like a ripstop pattern. So what that allows it to do is this crystalline structure can actually flex. We don't need it to, but every once in a while during installation, somebody will put a foot on it, put a knee on it just to bend over, and this will actually absorb and bend without any micro cracks at all. Traditional solar panels, if you put a foot on them, if you put on a knee on them, they'll have a micro crack that's invisible to the human eye, but it actually ruins its performance.
When we talk about wind, right, one of the things I think about is like the shingle pulling up, right? And you guys answered it when we were going through it. The starter strip here actually locks into this, right?
Yes.
And so the bottom physically cannot come up. And then up here we have our clips, which we're gonna do in 3 locations.
Yes.
And the bottom of the next shingle clips right under. And so there's no way for wind to get under it to actually lift it up.
And that's how we pass the Miami-Dade wind test, is because this leading edge locks into the starter, just like you said. Then left and right neighbors actually lock together like a water channel for a tile product. And then you have your wind clips up top that hold everything down so that we can achieve that Miami-Dade wind rating. This flashing near you is called the right side flashing. It's about a 4-inch extension. I'll put some underlayment on top of that to cover the fasteners. After that, I can put in asphalt shingle, I could put on a metal shingle, or I could put on slate.
What types of shapes of roofs can this go on? Like, how does the pattern work?
So one of the magnificent things about the Solstice shingle is we can do any roof shape there is. So if you've got a hip or a valley, we can actually match that shape. We can do pyramids, upside down triangles, trapezoids. We're not just limited to squares and rectangles.
Do you step them to do that, or?
Exactly. Perfect word to step. So if we're going to go narrower, like building a pyramid, that would be step in, step in, step in.
And then they just all interconnect. So these wires here that I'm seeing,
Yes.
each one connects to each other.
So each one of these comes with 2 wires, a male and a female, and they're actually polarized per their shape. One of the best things about these is when you go to plug them in, there's an audible click so that you know that your connection is made secure. And then in order to unplug it, you actually have to have a specialized key. So that the person doing maintenance for any reason needs to open that circuit, you can't unplug it while it's actually working and powered.
So in a typical household, right, how many of these actually need to be used? Like how many squares worth of these? Let's talk like roofers.
An average solar system that you would need in squares would be 4 to 6 squares.
Okay.
And that would be about 100 to 150 of these solar shingles. We'll actually look at your address from satellite imagery. We'll design it and customize it. We'll actually enter in your last 12 months bills, and we can actually show the customers how much of their bill we're going to cover with solar. We'll show people the premium that they'll actually pay to add on solar, and if you look at that premium, when you consider the energy savings and compare that to your payback, it's typically 10 years or less.
Got it. Installing this stuff, what's the first step?
The first 2 rows, they've put in regular asphalt shingle. Now they're putting in the metal bottom flashing. This is a nice metal course that it gives us something to actually take a nice square edge off of. So we make sure that we're gonna go down the line completely square and then come up the rake completely square.
Do you have to seal this with anything?
Nope, but there is a demarcation line here to show you where to overlap. So each one has about a 4-inch overlap.
Got it. All right, so talk me through steps here. What's next?
So they're gonna measure down to make a nice straight line with their chalk line so that they know how far to come down with the underlayment.
Just like roofing, we're snapping a line, we're putting the underlayment on, right on top of it.
Regular roofing tool. The underlayment that they're about to apply is a very specialized underlayment, and this is rated for high temperature. And notice when they put on the underlayment, they're not just doing where the solar flashing is, 14 inches or so out past the solar and about 14 inches above where the solar will rest.
Obviously, we're doing everything OSHA compliant here, even though we're in a warehouse and it's a safe environment. We've got our harnesses on. So this is our starter strip, and we've got 4 holes for our stainless screws.
Yes.
We're gonna put our second strip on.
Yep.
And we're gonna space it with the spacing tool that you talked about for expansion and contraction, right?
Exactly. So it's about 1/8 of an inch, and we're gonna use the same tool to space the starters, as well as the same tool to space the solar shingles. It comes with the kit, same with the stainless steel screws, same with the underlayment. We wanna make sure that when you receive your kit, you guys can hit the ground running.
So the time has come. We're gonna install this sucker.
We're ready.
So it's pretty light.
Yep, it's about the feel of a wakeboard or a snowboard.
How do I wanna line this up? Tell me what to do.
You're gonna put this edge in this groove.
Yep.
And make sure you're lined up here and lined up here.
Just perfectly on the edge?
Yep. And then lay it down gently while you push down.
Yeah,
There you go.
So now it's locked in. Perfect. All right, so Mark.
Yes.
You're gonna help me install this thing.
Okay.
And I wanna actually install it because I wanna see what it's all about. So now we have it down in the channel,
Okay.
okay? And these are the first step, correct?
Yes. 3 wind clips, and they're going to go in the 1, 3, and 5 positions.
And so this is going on here, just like that.
That's right.
Okay. So I'm gonna pull it down in, make sure it's engaged. I mean, guys, it's like so easy. What's next? Now, it's important to use a physical spacer, right?
Use the spacer.
And 5 screws, right?
Yep.
So now talk to me about the wires.
A circuit can have between 20 or as many as 50 solar shingles. So what I'm gonna do to start is I'm gonna have my home run cable connect to the positive.
And wait, let's hear the click. I heard it.
Now, we'll follow the negative and we'll plug it into the neighboring solar cell. And once again, there'll be an audible click, and I cannot unplug that. Any of these spaces here, I can tuck away the wire excess. So now that wire from here to here is nice and tidy.
Next step.
Let's grab that voltmeter and we'll make sure that everything is connected. So we're gonna make sure that our voltmeter is set to direct current. That is a straight line by a dotted line.
The male end is the positive,
Yes.
And that's my home run that we save for later.
Correct.
The female end is the negative.
Yes.
So am I correct in saying I'm going to go like this
Yep.
and then like that?
When you're in the sunshine, each one of these is going to produce approximately 9 volts in full sun. We have fluorescent lighting here, so it's not going to be as strong, but I'd want to see 9, 9, 9.
Got it. And so we're good to go. So we know it's wired correctly,
Yep.
and we can move on to the second row.
Exactly.
Now we're going to talk about side flashing.
Correct. So we're going to go up the side with the flashing. It's labeled left side flashing, built into the mold.
So this is going to come on here
Yep.
and go under this one.
Just
and
like that.
Straight up, right?
They'll come in and install it. They'll put in this screw, and then that screw there is going to be shared.
So the underlayment is on.
Yes.
And how wide do you want the underlayment?
14 inches is the goal. We want to make sure that we're covering this final row of fasteners and then just going off to the side so that no rain can travel towards the array. When you're putting on asphalt shingles up the side edge, one thing you might want to do additional, if you're in a high wind zone, is put 1 bead of mastic to keep your shingles down on this side.
So now we're going to work on our right side flashings. Push it in, pull it down, and it locks in place.
You did it perfectly.
Then I'm going to add a screw here. I'm going to hold off on that one.
Yes.
Now we're going to continue these flashings all the way up.
Yep.
Then the right corner is going to go on.
Yep.
We're going to do the underlayment, right? Leaving our area.
Yep. Cover the fasteners, cover these 2 channels, leave this channel exposed. Now we've got to pass the wires safely into the attic so the electrician can take those down to the inverter area. You want to be at least 12 inches inside the corner. They went a little bit deeper because they identified that there was a rafter right at 12 inches. So you don't want to drill through the rafter, so always check that.
Got it. And so you're just using a standard wood bit to drill through?
Yeah, he's going to use a bit that's 1 5/8 inches.
Then what goes in that hole? Like,
It's a 3-piece electrical fitting, and they'll assemble those together, pass the wires through there. It's a really good move to label those wires for the electrician, so when the electrician's in the attic, he knows exactly what he's working with. Now they're ready just to put an additional layer of underlayment on top of that hole just for extra protection.
do you guys send that electrical part
That
with it?
comes with the kit,
Look
everything
at that.
you need.
Plug and play.
We finished up over on the right side with the right corner.
I've noticed these lines here. Talk to me about that line.
For top flashing, you use this alignment line here to line up the outside edge of the next piece of flashing so that the holes match up. This hole here needs to line up with the hole in the flashing underneath it, and they both need to line up with the hole in the shingle.
So now we're gonna once again go right to left with all of our top flashings.
So we have this one over here on the line that you had shown me. What's going on over here?
Adding the next piece is a little different at the end of a shingle than in the middle of one. At the end of the shingle, if it overlapped like before, the shingles wouldn't line up right. We want to have the hole in the flashing align with the hole in the shingle. So the outside edge of the flashing does slightly overlap.
Got it. It's all about these lining up with the one underneath,
That's right.
right? So if I'm putting one of the flashings on and I notice that I can't get through,
Yes.
it's in the wrong spot.
It should always be easy.
And we'll finish up with the top left corner.
We've wrapped the whole top with underlayment. Is there anything you have to think about while you're doing that?
So they did the underlayment on the sides first. When they're doing it on the sides, they covered the 2 outermost channels, leaving the innermost channel exposed for our washout.
On the top, I noticed you're about 14 inches.
Yep, 14 inches of underlayment.
And I also noticed that we're about 3/4 of an inch up.
As long as they cover that top row of fasteners, anywhere in between there is a good spot to stop your underlayment.
Now, when we do get up to the course up here, we're gonna put this on. Where do I wanna stop the shingle?
As long as you go past the underlayment slightly, but you want to make sure you don't come down so far that you cover any solar active material.
We're gonna top nail this. Why are we top nailing that?
You're going to top nail that row of asphalt shingles to avoid any nails in the plastic. Once you've done that, we're going to go back with an additional bead of mastic to keep any wind from popping those shingles up.
Got it. So no nails through the plastic. That applies to the side as well.
Exactly.
Got it. And would you recommend the mastic up the side as well?
You can.
keep hearing this term, step in and step out. A step in is what we're doing here, right?
Correct. We're gonna go from 2 to 1, so we're actually stepping in as we go up. So let's get this wire out of our way so it doesn't get damaged by any fasteners.
Got it. And basically, we're just moving the wire down and under the next one, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Everything that we're gonna do, all the wires are always hidden in this channel, and we're usually always working from right to left. So this right here is a fresh, out of the box, top flashing. If I'm gonna go all the way over where I do my step in, I'm gonna actually score this and cut this away with the snips. But then we would have the
Corner.
regular top flashing.
We place this one in, it's
Yep.
underneath. Everything looks like it's lining up right. We put the corner on, that looks good. So I'm gonna start by putting these ones in halfway. Okay. So now up here, I'm gonna wanna make sure that that's lined up with that hole,
You can look right through there and see the hole in the frame.
Okay.
Okay, this one's lined up. That one's lined up. Just do it halfway.
I've got these 4 in. I'm not doing this one because you have to overlap. So now I'm taking the one that we cut,
Yes.
right?
Just the reason why we cut that is so that it butts up against it,
Ah, that makes sense.
and this
Got
one
it.
will go on top.
Okay, yep, holes lined up. So this is crucial, this part, right?
Yep.
Because you want that flange to go under that panel.
Yes.
Correct?
So this is called a special inside corner.
Got it. So now I'm gonna stick that under, line the holes up. So now at this point, I could tighten it all down.
All the way across, we're gonna make sure to cover these fasteners from here to here. I'll just split that distance with my underlayment.
Got
Anywhere
it.
in there is fine. You don't want to cover the solar, and you don't want the fastener to be exposed.
Got it. After that, we're gonna use our Landmark Pro and go right over everything.
Any Certainteed shingle you want.
So now we're doing a step out.
So he's putting in a regular left side flashing. Now we're gonna go from 2 here, and then we're gonna actually step out wider.
Yep.
So you'll notice that once he puts this one in, the next flashing that he puts uphill has been notched.
I do see that, yes.
So we notched that once again with the snips, and we also will put a notch in the bottom flashing. So he's putting a screw in the shared screw hole.
Now I notice that the metal flashing also is snipped.
So they notched that leading edge just so that it wouldn't rise up. Now that they've stepped out, everything over here where Mark's feet are, we're gonna have to eventually fill that in with asphalt shingles as well.
In the real world, you would bring this up and then put that flashing on,
Exactly.
right? But for demonstration purposes, we'll throw it on for now and keep rolling, right?
Yep.
So we're using the chalk line with blue chalk, because we don't want it to stain. We're gonna hook it in the loops.
Yep.
So now we have a step out. We did the flashing, the left side flashing here.
Yep.
Because our hipper valley is going up this direction,
Yes.
right? So now we're doing our triangle this way, right? So we put these 2 in. Then we put, just like the original ones we did down here, we put our flashing, which would be over the architectural shingle.
We notched the bottom flashing, and we notched that side flashing.
I'm using the same spacer tool.
Yep.
I'm gonna screw it in on the top, just like all the other ones, and I'm gonna do the left side flashing similar to this.
Just like that one.
And of course, also connecting it, testing it, making sure the voltage is good.
Yep, just plugging in the neighbors, checking the voltage at the end of every row.
That was an awesome install. We got the whole rectangular install done, shingles around it. So now the hard part's done, at least outside. But inside, we have our wires through. They're labeled. What happens then?
So now the electrician will come into the attic. They'll find those labeled wires. Within a 1 foot distance, they'll take a metallic flexible conduit to come into the knockout of this rapid shutdown device. This rapid shutdown device is constantly communicating with the inverter. The inverter receives the direct current from the array and blends it into an alternating current so that it's the power that you need inside your house. If anyone turns off the power on the ground floor, if there's any emergency scenario at all, this rapid shutdown will detect that, and it'll de-energize everything from the attic to the inverter.
If I'm a roofing contractor and I want to learn how to become an installer for the Solstice shingle, what are the steps I have to take?
We have a credentialing program that's available online, so the guys can take it at their own pace. You can go through the basics in 3 to 5 hours, or you can go all the way through the advanced in 20 hours, whatever, however deep you want to go.
What type of support do you guys provide after they finish that?
One of the main ones that we do is on-the-job training. So after you sell your first project with the Solstice shingle, we actually have field application specialists who will come on site for your first job, train your crew, and train your foreman on the entire roofing installation.
So now I'm certified, I get my first client, and they're interested in the product. How do I design it?
We'll give you a login to Aurora software that allows you to go from an address to a map, then a layout and their actual production within 3 to 5 minutes.
And with that, will it help me spit out a bid, like an actual quote?
It does create a proposal at the end, and then if the client ends up signing with you, you also can go to the next step and get a free plan set. That's about $500 savings right there.
That was an awesome install. I'm psyched I came out to learn it because at first I was a little intimidated. I'm not a wire guy, but honestly, you guys simplified it. It's so easy.
You're a fast learner too.
It's clearly a product for a roofer,
Absolutely.
right? It's not an electrical product, it's a shingle.
It is.
You should be offering this product on every re-roof. It's a great way to offer an add-on to your clients so you can make more money. I just think it's a no-brainer. So get out there and get certified. Start offering this on every single job you can do. I thank you for your time. It's been fun.
Thank you more.
All right.